Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. So today we are going to do Taurus 2025 horoscope, which is super exciting. So this is for Taurus sun, moon or rising, but I would say if you're a Taurus rising, this will be more accurate. So, use that at your discretion. So I'm going to talk about the key themes for the year and then break it down month by month. So the key themes for this year, Taurus, is a year of friendships and community, cultivating a direction around home and family, and focusing on career and income. So it would be quite an interesting year for you. So let's start with January 2025. We'll start with a Mars retrograde in Leo that happened on the 6th of December 2024, and we'll go on to the 6th of January 2025. Mars is a planet of war and aggression and sex drive. Leo is masculine and powerful, optimistic, and quite sunny. So together this can create a will not quit kind of energy, which can be used for good, but it can also yield lots of frustration and anger too. This will be in your fourth house of home and family. So you could have more frustrations around children, your location, your home, and your family, bonds. So you might need to channel the passion of Mars specifically into something positive here, so you don't get too angry and too frustrated. If you desire a family, for example, and you don't already have one, use that passion for direction and what you actually want from your family. If you want children, if you want to grow and expand a community, use that passion and that drive for direction. Then we also have Venus in Pisces in the 11th house on the 2nd of January. Venus will leave Aquarius and enter Pisces, which is a much more dreamy, delusional and compassionate kind of love sign. So I actually kind of like this energy. So you could find more harmony with your friendships and community with the 11th house here. Mars retrograde will then enter Cancer in your 3rd house from the 6th of January to the 23rd of February. Mars in Cancer is really not its best place to be because it's very sensitive, highly sort of like, oh, don't touch me energy. So this will highlight frustrations with communication for you in the 3rd house, productivity. You could feel angry over not being productive enough, or just feeling like, why am I in a kind of slob, lazy energy, or you're not being productive with your New Year's resolutions. And it might cause you to act out a little bit. Because it's a Mars retrograde, I don't see this as like a fisticuffs kind of energy. This is just like feeling really internally frustrated. So you might need to exercise some impulse control or find ways to calm yourself down and get perspective on things. Then we have some really interesting stuff happening. So the nodes will change to Pisces and Virgo from Aries and Libra. So the North Node in Aries has kind of set you up for life that's waiting for you. Now in Pisces, you can experience friendships and community that is destined for you. So again, this year is a really nice energy for community for you. So your North and South Node have been in Aries and Libra, and they now move to Pisces and Virgo, which means that you'll restore harmony and balance to your dating life and your creative pursuits, but also your friendships, right? Because this is the 5th house and then also the 11th house. So this is kind of a nice energy. So your purpose becomes much more clearer when it comes to specifically your dating and creative life, but also your friendships too. Then on the 30th of January, Uranus will be going direct in Taurus, and this will be in your Taurus 1st house. So this is very nice for house of self and identity. So you could expect the unexpected, some shakeups with identity and appearance, but you'll also be feeling a lot more innovative as well when it comes to the way that you see yourself. You could also expect some kind of issues with the way that people treat you, not necessarily a bad thing, just kind of like getting hot and cold behavior. And if you experienced any kind of identity shakeups from May to September last year, 2024, then these may repeat now, or the lessons that you learned from that period may actually come in use right now. In February 2025, Venus will be entering Aries in your 12th house on the 2nd of February. So Venus entering your 12th house of mental health is interesting. It brings excitement and passion to love and commitments. It makes you feel more sort of focused on a healing subconscious trauma so you can move forward in romance, especially because Aries is that active energy. So it's like, I'm doing the work actively. And it's a fun energy and a good kind of energy for working on self-love specifically. Jupiter will then be direct in Gemini in your 2nd house of income and finances on the 2nd of February. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and luck, so these expansive opportunities can pick up now. This is active energy. This is not I'm thinking about doing this, is I'm doing this. So you can have luck and success with income and finances, either growing new income streams, doubling your salary. It's a great energy for investing as well and making the right investments, going for a job that will expand your career, and again, doubling and tripling your salary. Then Mars will go direct in Cancer in your 3rd house. As I mentioned, Mars in Cancer is not the best place for it to be. It's highly sensitive. In the 3rd house of communication and productivity and writing as well, you will be being quite active in evaluating your frustrations with how you and others communicate. So you could, again, be a bit frustrated in the way that you say things to people. You could snap at people very easily. What you're achieving on the day-to-day, you could find frustrating. Although you are motivated with it, it can be frustrating. And you could also find that you go on a social media detox and it's like an active thing that you do and you're like, actually, this has really helped my life. So there are a number of things that you could do with this Mars placement in the 3rd house. But again, Mars in Cancer, not the best place for it to be. You could see more aggression in politics on a global stage in the news, like not necessarily linked to you, but you could see more aggression because Cancer is also home and family and patriotism and heritage. So we could see more aggression in politics. We could also see more kind of women standing up for women's rights and children's rights as well in the news. So that could be something that we see a lot more of as well. March 2025, we have a Venus retrograde in Aries 12th house on the 1st of March. So this can bring out some existing issues in your relationships and you can get very annoyed by other people more easily because this is Aries. It can be quite angry. In the 12th house as well, that can really affect your mental health. So you need to focus on self-love and forgiving yourself, using affirmations to rewire your beliefs around love. Because Venus is debilitated in Aries, you need to be a little bit more flexible emotionally. And because Mercury will also go into Aries in the 3rd, in your 12th house on the 3rd of March too, we need a bit of ice water when it comes to this because it could really affect your mental health with that kind of anger and frustration around romance particularly. Then we have a Virgo lunar eclipse in the 5th house on the 14th of March. Very strong, disciplined energy. This can be a time to finish some important projects as well and type some loose ends. Really great time to release kind of stagnant energy around dating and relationships or feelings of hopelessness around that. And you may also want to finish up a project and start a new creative project or start a new hobby, especially because it's like, you know, we're still in the first half of the new year as well. So it could be like, I actually want to start this and see how far I get with it for the rest of the year. Then we have retrograde central. So Mercury will be retrograding Aries in the 12th house on the 15th of March. Mercury retrograde brings communication issues, technology issues, delays, and also things coming back from the past. With Venus also retrograding in Aries, this can be a really challenging period with a lot of angst and aggression around exes and around relationships. So you need to kind of focus on some Zen calmness, especially for your mental health, Taurus. So you might also want to focus on the things that actually protect your mental health and not the things that will, you know, be detrimental to it. You also have a Venus retrograde in your Pisces 11th house on the 27th of March. So again, that old energy with relationships and friendships specifically could cause you to feel tired. Subconscious trauma could emerge around friendships and community. So you need to focus on what you really want from your relationships. And you can use that delusional energy of Pisces to manifest love and care and an understanding of people around you as well. Then Mercury will retrograde in Pisces in your 11th house on the 29th of March. So alongside Venus also being in Pisces, which is very highly spiritual and karmic and intuitive communication around love, this might manifest issues globally, but for you specifically, you need to be open to all the lessons that this brings when it comes to your friendships and your social networking circle and how that you're communicating with them. Could also find that you are maybe having issues with people ghosting you and you're like, yeah, why does this person text me like it's a Netflix show? They pick me up and pause me like I'm a Netflix show, and you get frustrated around that. Then Neptune will enter Aries in your 12th house as well on 30th of March. Neptune is the planet of clarity and spirituality, and Aries is very active with that spirituality. In the 12th house of mental health as well, this retrograde may cause some difficulty in really seeing the truth and how you are meant to move forward with how you're feeling. You could feel a little bit more, I wouldn't say depressed, but just a little bit more sort of down. But Neptune also signals the spread of something as well, and with Saturn in Aries in that 12th house of mental health for you, this is a bit of restriction for sure. Globally, this to me is a bit scary because I'm like, no, this is a bit of a heightened energy with war. I'm not saying we're going to war, but this doesn't look good. For you specifically outside of the global stage, there is an energy here of like real restriction, and you cannot see what will make you feel joy and what will make you feel good about yourself. There's a real restriction with your mind here. You know, it's like it really feels like mind over matter. It's matter over mind for you right now. There's something you can't tap into with your mind. Then we have an Aries solar eclipse on the 29th of March in your 12th house of mental health and karma. The Aries solar eclipse will trigger energy in you, which you have to release, you know, issues arising with passion and challenges. You may want to release some powerful energy here, some kind of grief as well, especially around something that's really debilitated your mental health. You might also want to reframe something rather than fully letting it go due to the retrograde. So it might be something that you're like, I really want to let this go for my mental health, but I think it might actually make it worse in the long run. So I'm just going to reframe it. And because it's that 12th house, you could be feeling very linked to your mental health and spirituality with this solar eclipse as well. In April 2025, Mercury will be going direct in Pisces in your 11th house on the 7th of April. So communication with your friendships is so much easier now. You can communicate your feelings and innermost thoughts with ease now. And it really will be helpful when building up bonds with networking for work, your career, and also building up bonds with your friends. You might also feel that you can share your manifestation with your friends now without fear. Like you don't think they're going to judge you and you don't think it's going to backfire with evil intent. You know, you feel much better about doing that. Then Venus will also be direct in your Pisces 11th house on the 12th of April. So again, you might experience better manifestations with love, feel more open to dreaming and hoping around love. And you might also feel that you can, if you're single, you can meet somebody around your friendships as well, and they can like hook you up and connect you. And you may also feel less burdened by having to keep up appearances with your friends and your community and having to look perfect. And they accept you on a really sort of spiritual way, and you'll feel a lot more lighter because of that. Then we have the return. Things are returning. So Mars will be back in Leo in your 4th house of home and family on the 18th of April. So think back to any issues that were arising from November to December 2024 and what were they? How did you deal with them? You can really tie up loose ends here with this feeling of home and family and that kind of energy that is surrounding that. But you must be careful around frustration and the heightened emotions that come with that, because even though Leo is much more passionate, Leo is still like a lot of frustration and anger here. Then Venus will go back in Aries in the 12th house for you on the 30th of April, so you can bring any unfinished business that happened in March 2025 back and deal with it head on, right? So you can be more enthusiastic with love and energetic, but again, you can also be quite impulsive here. So you need to balance that, because anything to do with romance, with your 12th house of mental health can affect you in that detrimental way. In May 2025, Pluto will be retrograding in your Aquarius 10th house on the 4th of May, which is the house of career, money and wishes. So you may have experienced some quite intense transformations around this since November last year, 2024. But now these slow down a little bit, so you don't really get too much dramatic transformation. You think more internally on how you want to transform your career and your income and finances. So this is quite a reflective time for you. Then Saturn will enter Aries in your 12th house on the 24th of May. Again, this placement as a whole globally worries me, because Saturn is the planet of restriction and lessons, and Aries is war. So this kind of always reminds me of world leaders that are taunting each other and kind of like having to bite their tongue. Saturn in your 12th house can show boundaries and growth with your mental health and protecting your peace no matter what. So this is really you setting boundaries with people in your life and your work, and then saying, I have to do this to protect my mental health. You're focusing so much on protecting your peace and your joy this year, Taurus. And Aries is very forward moving. Saturn is the rope around you. So you must work on that feeling of freedom as much as possible, especially when it comes to not feeling trapped in your mind. June 2025, we have a beautiful energy with Jupiter entering Cancer in your 3rd house on the 9th of June. Beautiful energy. Jupiter and Cancer go so well together. Mercury will also be entering Cancer the day before. So this is great communication, and it's expansive for writing and feeling productive. And Jupiter's just a new in Cancer as well for the next year. So great news for getting positive messages from people, meeting the right people, achieving more than you thought. And if you're like interested in writing or academic writing, then this will be really great for you as well for expanding and growing that as well. Mars will also be entering Virgo in your 5th house as well on the 17th of June. So this is fabulous energy for dating and creativity. A great time to use the frustrations and passion and energy and drive of Mars into dating and creative projects. You could have some frustration with your sex drive, particularly, and feeling like you need to, feeling like, I really need to get this. But I think it's very important to remember that, like, when we're passionate, when we're feeling drive with dating and creative projects, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Virgo can have that perfectionist stance. So these together kind of says these things don't have to be perfect. Like, you can glean discipline from it, right? You can be like, I'm going to be like celibate and disciplined, but like you can be a bit more relaxed and free. It doesn't have to be too disciplined. Then July 2025, Neptune will be retrograding in your Aries 12th house on the 4th of July. And Neptune retrograde brings this very foggy energy. Like, Neptune to me is like a mirror. And when it's retrograding, there is fog on the mirror and you can't see things clearly. There is no clarity. And in Aries, this can be like fighting against the wind. This is like punching a mirror because you can't see what's on the mirror. So try to stay tapped into your intuition. And in the 12th house of mental health, again, focus on understanding your mental health, and your subconscious beliefs are not losing yourself, right? So you need to focus on the things that you've been telling yourself your whole life and how that brings you clarity. Don't lose yourself in this transit. So therapy might be quite beneficial during this time for you. Uranus will then enter Gemini, your 2nd house of income and finances, on the 7th of July. Uranus is quite settled in Gemini because it's a communication house. So this will bring out-of-the-box ideas, very innovative ideas when it comes to income and finances. So you could see more new, exciting ways to make money. You could be like aligned with somebody who brings new innovative ideas and you're like, oh, this is interesting. And on a global stage, we could see more exciting news around sort of cryptocurrency. So you could be more focusing on seeing things on the news aligned to that. It's not necessarily like this is globally happening for everyone. This is like you become more tapped into seeing that. So open your mind to new ways of thinking and new stories around income and finances, and setting yourself new affirmations when it comes to, I'm so rich I can afford anything I want, that kind of thing. Then we have more retrogrades again. So we have a Saturn retrograde in Aries in your 12th house on the 13th of July. This restricts our options even more and can make you feel really trapped in your mental health. So again, you have to be so careful with your subconscious beliefs and what you've been telling yourself. But we can use the Aries energy to tap into creativity and remind ourselves that there are several options out there. So we might feel constricted by the Saturn retrograde, and then because of our Aries 12th house and mental health, we then can see like, right, I thought I only had one option. Now I have 7, 8 options, and that makes me feel more free, and actually I feel much better with that. We're evaluating that. We're not necessarily like jumping out of the chains and the shackles. We're thinking about doing that. Then we have a Mercury retrograde in Leo in the 4th house on the 18th of July. So it's a great time for second chances with your home or your family. Exes can come back during this time, and especially exes that you maybe foresaw having a family with. But you must be careful on communication here, because you could have a little bit of a communication issue with a family member, and then it just causes a headache that you don't need. Things could also break around the home, and that frustrates you, so just kind of be careful with that kind of matter as well. You could also find that you're not on the same wavelength with a partner, if you have one, about home and family, and your values are not matching up. Eventually will, but it's just kind of like you're not picking up what I'm putting down here. Then in August 2025, Mars will be entering Libra in your 6th house on the 6th of August. Mars and Libra are complete opposites. So this is about understanding others to the fullest, really. This is like harmony and romance going against fire and anger. So this is a great energy and drive for a new gym routine or a new wellness routine. And establishing communication boundaries with co-workers as well. So a good energy if you've been having frustrations with co-workers, then you're able to actually like set those boundaries in a harmonious way, and then they understand why you're doing it. Then Mercury will be direct in Leo in the 4th house of home and family on the 11th of August. And this is great, right? Because Mercury direct can help you channel your motivation around your home and family in the right way. So as well as having good communication use this Mars and Libra energy to manifest and communicate with co-workers in the right way too. So Venus will enter Leo in the 4th house on the 25th too, which will enhance harmony around home and sort of family matters. September 2025, Saturn will enter Pisces in your 11th house on the 1st of September. So Saturn will now stay in Pisces for the rest of the year. I'm a Saturn Pisces. Why? I'm like, why? I'm happy it's out of Aries, but I'm like, why? So any Saturn and Pisces kids can revisit any lessons from the last 2 to 3 years. And Taurus specifically, you can revisit friendships and feelings of community and any kind of constrictions that affect those. Then we have Uranus retrograde in Gemini in your 2nd house of income and finances on the 6th of September. This can slow down any new ideas and innovations for income and financial sources. You may have a shock or a bit of a change that you don't want. You could receive some news about finance that are just a bit like, huh? You know, you could get something through the mail where it's like, why am I having to pay tax on this? I've already paid tax, what? Or you just kind of feel stuck in a rut with your income and you're like, I don't know how to build my salary or double my salary or focus on investing and that kind of thing. Then we have eclipse season, yay. So we have Pisces lunar eclipse in the 11th house on the 7th of September, which is end and release, right? This is let go with a capitals, right? Great time to let go of old friends particularly, or people who no longer serve you in your community. This could feel really cathartic for you. It could be like, I've been wanting to cut this person off for ages and now I'm just going to do it. It feels good for you and you're like, yeah, I feel good about this. Then you have the Virgo solar eclipse in the 5th house on the 12th of September. So you can start a new creative project or begin dating or talking to somebody new and use that Venus and Virgo energy to meet someone either at work or in a fitness space as well. So you can kind of like put those together. Then in October 2025, Pluto will be going direct in Aquarius in your 10th house on the 13th of October. So you can focus now, Taurus, on career transformations, major transformations in your career, lessons with wishes and income, and you can actually finally move forward with those lessons and those transformations as well. So your path with your career might become a little bit more clear again now. Neptune will then enter Pisces in your 11th house on the 22nd of October. So Neptune returns to Pisces, and I like this energy together. So revisit issues with friends and social matters and focus on the clarity that comes from that. How are your friends helping you understand the world? How are you able to communicate with your friends? Do they understand what you're putting down? Are they picking it up? Like, how are you two like mutual? Do you know what I mean? A great time for meditation as well and sort of tapping into your spiritual side even more, especially if you want to like build your community as well. Then November, Uranus will enter Taurus in the 1st house on the 7th of November. Innovation, shake-ups with identity and your appearance and purpose, and any changes to your kind of security and self which have been in effect recently can be worked on. This is you like kind of reinventing yourself a little bit and being like, I'm going to step outside the box. Could have a new haircut, for example, or change your wardrobe a little bit. You could really be focusing on how people perceive you in the world, and you're like, gives me the energy of like, you know, when you disappear for 6 months and you just show up again and people are like, whoa, didn't even recognize you. It's that kind of energy. Then Mercury will be retrograding in Sagittarius and the 8th house on the 9th of November. So you may feel like you cannot communicate. That Sagittarius energy will make you want to run for the hills because you feel that you cannot open up to somebody, especially with that 8th house of intimacy. Exes revisiting could make you feel trapped, especially an ex that you had a bit more of a spicy kind of energy with. And you could also experience delays with investing as well, or not being able to make the right idea. I definitely probably wouldn't invest around this time. Then we have retrogrades version 400, more retrogrades. So we have a Jupiter retrograde in Cancer in the 3rd house for you on the 11th of November. So this Jupiter retrograde will have us evaluating any projects and dreams from this year, specifically around writing and how we operate on the day-to-day. But we will also be able to look at our dreams and what we feel destined for, right? Especially with communication and writing. If you're like a wannabe author, for example, or somebody who wants to do writing with academia, like contributing to research papers or being a lecturer, this is fantastic energy for rethinking and reevaluating how you're going to grow that and become that. So this is a good time to evaluate those dreams and those projects. Then Mercury will be retrograding in Scorpio in the 7th house on the 18th of November. This is passionate, la passion. Exes could definitely return with full force because this is the 7th house of committed relationships. So you could have a long-term ex come back, not necessarily being like, hey, I want you back, but you might even see them in the street and you're like, well, it's like this Mercury retrograde that we recently had in Sagittarius. I didn't necessarily reconnect, but like I saw them randomly. I bumped into them and I was like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And then they text me and I was like, yeah, this could count. This could count. You could have issues around communicating with relationships with that Mercury retrograde, as well as opening up to others and trusting others. So with this committed relationship and the Mercury retrograde together, you know, just be careful about, you know, maybe feeling like I want them back or that kind of energy. Just kind of like center yourself. It's passionate energy with that 8th house. It could also be like you're like, oh, I just really miss the sex or something like that, or it's like, oh yeah, I need to slap myself and focus myself a little bit more. Then we have some transits that are going direct. So we have Saturn direct in Pisces 11th house for you on the 27th of November. This can give us a tiny bit more freedom because Saturn is that boundary and restriction. And when it's direct, we can be more active in setting boundaries, especially with your friendships. So you can feel less trapped with it. You have the right kind of friendship tribe now. So you're setting boundaries around your friendships and feeling more open to manifestation and feelings of openness when it comes to setting those boundaries. So it could be like, I'm going to manifest that. Only the right people that respect my boundaries are going to be in my life. Then we have our Mercury direct in Scorpio in your 7th house of committed relationships again on the 29th of November. That was the last Mercury retrograde of the year, so we're going direct now. We can move forward, and for you, Taurus, you can make really good decisions on love now, communicate with love, be more open to trusting somebody, communicating with a partner. That's also going to be a business partner as well, and also being able to manifest a partner much more easily now as well. And then finally, we come to the last month of the year, December 2025. We have a Mars retrograde in Leo and the 4th house of home and family for you on the 6th of December. Mars will be retrograding in Leo again, and this will bring irritation and frustration, anger with matters of the home and family. So try to focus on what you're grateful for with your home and family, and try to understand people and their perspectives without getting too frustrated about it. Again, we can channel the passion of Mars and that passion of Leo together to do something good here, but it can be quite frustrating. So this is a time to use the lessons, especially with the mental health that you've been going through this year, to understand why and how you get frustrated. Then Neptune will be going direct in Pisces in the 11th house. So this will bring clarity to friendships and community and really help provide some perspective on the direction of your life when it comes to your tribe and your community. I really feel like you're getting so embraced this year, Taurus, by your friends and community, especially if you've been somebody who's a bit of a loner, perhaps. You might be meeting those new friends and just having that tribe and feeling like I finally belong. You know, it's just a nice energy. Overall, some really nice energy here, Taurus, when it comes to friendships and community, some interesting kind of direction with career and finances, but also I really see this as a focus on protecting your peace and your mental health this year, and you're focusing on the things that are going to help you and bring you joy, setting your boundaries with the right people, especially your friendships and community, and being a little bit more careful with your family matters as well. So overall, Taurus, I don't see this as being like super lucky but also super bad either. You are a fixed sign as well, so Pluto in Aquarius may affect you a little bit more with transformations when it comes to your career, but also that's great for like fame as well, so you could really channel that and enhance that. So use everything that you are going to be learning in the new year to help you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you a fantastic 2025. We are co-creators of the universe, so please don't take this as a prediction, a curse I put on you, and you must follow this. Like, astrology is a way for us to understand our life. We also can use manifestation and law of assumption and our subconscious mind. Because you have so much energy in the 12th house as well, you have a great opportunity to use affirmations and rewire your brain to use that 50-50 co-creation, right, of the universe. So get hyped, get enjoyable, feel joy about this new year. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a new year. If you want anything clarified, or you want to have a go about how fast I talk, you could comment and I will try and reply with my knowledge. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you for the next video, which will probably be the January 2025 video. But thanks for watching, I appreciate it.